Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to RVNL earnings call organized by Batliwala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. At this moment, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Later, we will conduct a question and answer session. At that time, if you have a question, please press star 1. Please note this conference is recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to Mr. Kunal Sheth. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pranali. And I would like to welcome the management of Real Vikas Nigam Limited on the call and would like to thank them for giving us this opportunity. From the management team, we have Mr. Rajesh Prasad, Director Operations, and Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, Director Finance. Sir, I would like request you to give us some opening remarks, post which we will open the floor for a Q&A session.
So you must be aware about the railway industry in the country. India is the fourth largest railway network in the world with a total network of 68,442 route kilometers. And basically RVNL is in the field of implementing the railway infrastructures, and we execute about 30% to 35% of the Indian railway infrastructures every year. This company was created in the year 2003. It was the vision of the then Honorable Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and this company has been rated as excellent by Department of Public Enterprises for the last 9 years, and it is number 1 PSU in the Ministry of Railways 4 times out of the last 6 years. This has been granted as a Mini Ratna Schedule A company, Mini Ratna Category 1, on 19 September 2013, and it is under process of upgradation to Navratna company. It is also known as the executing arm of Indian Railways, and we mainly execute works for and on behalf of Ministry for projects assigned to it. We have already commissioned about 102 number of projects. Total 183 projects were assigned to us, and the company has been growing, and in last 10 years, and the CAGR up to the previous year was about 36%. This financial year, that was the COVID year, we had exceeded all the physical and the financial parameters, and despite of the COVID financial year, we could achieve the best results in terms of the physical parameters and the financial parameters, and we are basically it was designed for resource mobilization as well as project implementation, but subsequently Ministry of Railways decided in the year 2006 that there is already a company called IRFC, so our role was then made limited only for the project implementation, and IRFC is generating the finances except for the special purpose vehicles. We have got 4 number of special purpose vehicles which are in operation. One special purpose vehicle is likely to be commissioned in next financial year, and we have got few proposals which are at different stages of consideration for making new SPVs. So this is the background of the company, and the performance in the previous financial year was better than the pre-COVID year, which was a very big achievement. We achieved all the parameters and targets set by the Department of Public Enterprises for the year 2020-21. So with this background, we can take the questions.
Certainly. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star 1 on your phone and await your turn to ask the question when guided by me. If your question has been answered before your turn and you wish to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. We have first question from Mr. Dikshit Doshi from Whitestone Financial Advisors Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Sir, my first question is regarding what is the current unexecuted order book as on 31st March?
It is approximately 75,000 crores INR.
Okay, and the execution timeline would be how much?
Last year we had a turnover of 15,400 crores. We had the board of directors meeting and the audit committee meeting, and we have given these figures which will be uploaded also. So 15,000 means uploaded also. So 15,000 means it has basically 5 years. It will take 5 years to complete this 75,000 crores at this particular pace. But suppose if we want to increase the pace, if we go to the 20,000, then it will be around 4 years.
No, even last year we were going CAGR of 44%. So this year was an exception, but around 4 years.
Around 4 years, yes. We should be able to complete this in 4 years' time.
Yeah, so that was my second question regarding, if we see pre-COVID level, RVNL has been consistently, growing the revenue at 20% plus CAGR. So obviously this year was a pandemic, still we grew at 6% is commendable. So how do you see from next year onwards? Can we come back again to pre-COVID level of 20% growth?
See, this year we had the second wave and it has already impacted from April to May end. So 2 months and maybe around 15th June and it's still going on in some of the states. So it has already impacted. So the COVID second phase is going on and we are also not aware about the future third wave, etc. But we are taking due precautions and we are sure that if the situation improves, then we will go back to the pre-COVID levels as soon as possible.
Okay. So my next question is what kind of order inflow we are targeting for FY22? Fresh order inflow?
See, basically we are executing 2 kinds of projects. One is the direct nomination by the Ministry of Railways and the other is the SPV route. So in the previous financial year, we did not get any assignment from Ministry of Railways. But in terms of the special purpose vehicles, there are some projects which are in the pipeline and some of them are in advanced stage also. For example, we have got the Pachwara coal blocks to Nagarnavi in Eastern Railway, which falls in Jharkhand, which is about 60 kilometers special purpose vehicle. Then we have got the Sardega to Pelma, Chhattisgarh. This is again a special purpose vehicle Railway Board has assigned for the bankability studies and the DPR. And then there is a special purpose vehicle at Jagdalpur which connects to Raoghat in Chhattisgarh area, 141 kilometers. Ministry of Railway has requested us to participate in that. We have formed a committee to join this SPV. Then there is a SPV which connects to the Rivas port. It is already sanctioned by Ministry of Railways, but because of the right of way not available with the Rivas port, this has not taken off. We are in discussion for formation of an SPV which will connect from Hazira to Surat. And there is a proposal from Bhupalpalli to Bisugir Sarif in Telangana, which is about 45 kilometers. Recently, we have received the proposal from the state government, which is basically a line which connects from Mau to Indore, falling in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, which is about 368 kilometers. We have requested for undertaking the bankability studies. And then there was another SPV called Dighi Roha Rail Company Limited, which was earlier sanctioned by Ministry of Railways. And as per the MCLAT, Dighi port has now been taken over by Adani port. Dighi port has now moved to the Supreme Court. So that particular SPV is also on the revival path. So these are the 8 number of special purpose vehicles which are in the pipeline, and these are the future business which we think of for the future. Here I want to inform that these special purpose vehicles are created with the specific purposes, and we have got the equity, the typical structure, debt equity structure is there, and we have generated 76,000 crores of revenue for Indian Railways, where Ministry of Railway has not invested a single paise. So this is a perfect model for developing the Indian railway infrastructures, and RVNL is the pioneer in this special purpose vehicle business. Sorry.
Yeah, so I understand that we will participate in these SPVs equity, and whatever work has to be done will come to RVNL. But apart from this SPV, are we expecting a fresh orders from Ministry of Railway for doubling or electrification or any new line?
Everything depends upon the project delivery, and the project delivery of RVNL is way ahead if we compare the construction organization of Indian Railways, if we compare with respect to the other PSUs who are executing the railway infrastructures in the country. And since our project delivery is excellent, we still believe that based on our performance, we will keep on getting the projects on nomination basis.
But you don't have any, visibility at how much we can get.
We don't have any control. We don't have any control. It is up to the ministry to take a call on this, decide upon this. But based upon our performance, we are sure that we will have to play a very big role. Here I would like to tell you one more thing, that if you see the railways capex, it has grown 3 times with respect to the financial year 15 to financial year 21-22. And the capex has also increased, like in the year 2020-21, it was 1617 INR billion. Now it has increased to 2200 INR billion. So it is roughly around 30%. 30-35%. There is an increase in the railway capex. So if the railway capex is growing like this, and in the financial year 2021-22 we are seeing a jump of 35%, and RVNL has been executing about 30-35% of the Indian railway infrastructure. So we believe that based upon our performance, we will keep on getting the work. It is only a matter of time.
Okay. Actually, I asked this question because, recently whatever tenders have been, bidding has taken place among the PSUs, we have not received, I guess, much orders, but some of the other railway PSUs have got good orders. So because of this, I was just asking.
Okay, so basically again this is the prerogative of the Ministry of Railways and Government of India, but our mandate has been approved for execution of the bankable projects on nomination basis, and that is still available, and if Ministry wants to get the projects delivered, then we are very much committed to this.
Okay. And one last question from my side. So if I see the full year performance, the share of profit from associates, from joint ventures is almost flat, like 44 lakh loss. So I understand that some of the JVs are making good profits and some would be in the losses. So if you can just give some broad numbers of which JVs made how much profit?
Okay, I'll just tell you. We have got 4 number of SPVs which are in operation: Kutch Railway Company Limited, Krishnapatnam Railway Company Limited, Bharuch Dahej Railway Company Limited, Haridaspur Paradip Railway Company Limited. Kutch Railway Company Limited is an extraordinary, excellent company, and it has been growing, and it has if you see the performance of this particular company, This has given the profit after tax of this company was 149.10 crores, and the share of RVNL was 74.55 crores. The next company is Haridaspur Paradeep Railway Company Limited, which has shown a loss against RVNL is about 15.69 crores. I will tell you about Haridaspur Paradeep, basically this SPV line. This has already been commissioned in the month of July 2020, and the traffic has started moving from August onwards, and the performance of this company has been excellent in terms of traffic. It has moved more than 20 rakes. If you see the average, more than 20 rakes per day, and the total rakes which moved in this particular line was 3664 rakes, loaded rakes. So it has been a game changer in the basically dynamics of the transportation in that particular region, and it is a 82 kilometer new line, and we will start getting the result from this particular SPV. So this was the Haridaspur Paradeep Railway Company Limited. We had a loss of about 52 crores from Krishnapatnam Railway Company Limited. Basically, this company has got some disputes from Ministry of Railways for getting the apportionment and the terminal cost, for which an arbitration is going on. The traffic during the entire section was commissioned in the year 2019, and after that there was a slide in the economy, and it was further impacted because of COVID-19, and we expect that in time to come this company will again grow, because the traffic is likely to resume. Number one, the entire section has been commissioned, and for bringing more efficiency in the system, we are going to commission 2 stations very shortly, maybe in 3 months time. And then we are also making a one bypass line that is also likely to be completed by December. And we have got a new managing director from the railway background from that area. He is very dynamic. He has already started coordinating with the various stakeholders. And the traffic in the month of April-May has shown an increase of 23% with respect to the first 2 months of the previous year. So we expect that things will move, and the dispute and the arbitration claims will also get settled, and this company will further improve. Regarding the Bharuch Dahej Railway Company Limited, the loss was only 6 crores, and we had some issues regarding the repayment of the debt, etc. Now we have received a sanction, the approval from the bank for deferment of the loans. And Angul Sukinda Railway Line Company Limited, this is yet to be commissioned and likely to be commissioned by June 2022. So briefly, I can tell you that the future of these SPVs are very bright, and Krishnapatnam is having some issues which we are addressing it. We are monitoring it, and maybe from after the post-COVID, the things will improve and it will come back to the pre-COVID level, and the losses will not be there.
Okay, just one last question
Sorry
from
to
my side.
interrupt you.
Yeah.
Sir,
Okay. No.
please come back in the queue.
Sure.
Thank you. We have next question from Mr. Venkatesh Subramanian from Logic Tree Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Can you give us an idea? Good evening, sir. 2 questions. One is to the subsidiary called High Speed Rail Corporation. Can you give us an idea of growth plans you have for this company? That's number one. And number 2, what is your cash balance on 31st March 2021, sir?
Okay, coming back to the first question about the HSRC, this company was incorporated for basically the feasibility studies and implementation of the high-speed corridors, and this company had basically done the pre-feasibility studies of about 10,000 kilometers in the Indian Railway network, and subsequently it was decided that there will be a separate company, NHSRC, which will implement these high-speed corridors. So now this company was limited only for the studies only. Now we have got the name changed from HSRC to HSRC Infra Services Limited. We are in the stage of making it as a bidding arm of Ministry of Railways, and we are eyeing some business of consultancy and as well as execution of railway infrastructures overseas and any kind of infrastructures in the country through this HSRC Infra Services. We have got a very big plan. We have already created this vertical. We have set up a business development unit here, and in time to come you will start getting the results of this HSRC Infra Services, which is the only subsidiary of this particular company. Regarding this next question, you asked about the reserve and surplus and the cash balance, etc. So,
This is only in the result you can see.
the results have been uploaded, and we have got the reserve and surplus of around 5,000 crores as on 31st March 2021.
Yeah, and the cash balance is about 1,400 crores, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So just going back on the HSRC question, I understand that you have the very bright prospects. Can you give us some sense of what could, if HSRC over the next 4 years, 5 years, what could be the top line look like, sir, as per your business plans?
This will be one of the companies who will be bidding in the market in the country for all kinds of infrastructures and the railway infrastructures in particular in the foreign countries. And we have made a business, basically a vertical only for bidding purpose, number one. Number two, for the first time we have made a business development unit in RVNL, which was earlier not there. So we see a very bright future for the HSRC Infra Services, and maybe within 1 month to 3 months you will see some kind of business through HSRC Infra Services or through some other means for RVNL.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Subramanian. We have next question from Mr. Abhishek from Rail Vikas Nigam Limited. Please go ahead.
Rail Vikas Nigam Limited.
No, actually I'm an individual investor. I just don't know how it is mentioning it as Rail Vikas. Okay, I have a couple of questions. The number one being on the margins. So I see that we have a 5% margin in as our operating margin. Is there any scope to improve that?
See, our management fee is fixed. Then we have to pay the dividends. Then we have to pay the tax. And then moreover, this margin will be more or less the same.
So the amount of work which we do and for which we charge the management fee, I guess the entire revenue and expenses is passed through RVNL. And the 5% what I see as operating margin is nothing but the management fee.
See, the revenue stream is like this, that we have got 3 kinds of projects. The projects which is of national importance, national projects we call it, there we charge about 10%, then metro projects, there we charge about 9.25%, and majority of the projects is 8.5%. Now, we are supposed to pay the dividends, which is 30% of the PAT or 5% now of the net worth, which has now been changed to 35% of the PAT. So we have to pay this much of dividend. Then we have to pay about 1%, which comes as a tax, and then if you deduct all these, then it will be net will be around 5% only. So the margin we cannot improve, but depending upon the quantum of work, the PAT, etc., PAT and PBT gets changed.
So sir, what I understand is that you're saying the dividend you'll have to pay 35%. That is from the PAT, right?
That is on the PAT, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm talking at the operating profit level. Like for last 7 years, what I see is 5%. So that 5% is basically the management fee which will remain constant.
It is not, there will be some variation little bit in percentage depending on the type of project that we do majority work. If we have more, if my turnover is more from metros, then this percentage will go because management fee is little more there.
Okay, majority of the projects are 5%.
So it depends on the type, majority of the project which constitute our turnover. If it is a normal project which is 8.5% management fee, then this will be 5%. 2% being dividend and 1% being tax.
This year gross margin to turnover has gone up.
Due to non-expenditure.
Yeah, because of lesser expenditure this year.
Okay. And another question I want to ask is about the private participation. So are we targeting private customers as well apart from government?
Yeah, basically, if you see the model of the special purpose vehicles, normally if you see any model, for example, let us take this Krishnapatnam Railway Company Limited. There we have got a port, Krishnapatnam Port, which has now been taken over by Adani. Then there is some other company, private company, Brahmani. They are our business partners. And actually, whenever such projects takes off, then we call for the EOI, expression of interest, and based on the performance requirement and their strength, we select the partners. The partners could be from the PSU, from the government sector, from the private players, and this is as per the policy guidelines which has been issued by Ministry of Railways in December 2012.
Okay. And another question, sir, is regarding borrowing. So what I see is that as per your recent filing, you have a borrowings of 5,000 crores, but I see that the interest cost is nothing in front of that. It's only 28 crores. So the borrowings, as I understand, as I mentioned earlier, is something which gets repaid by someone else, right?
Yeah, see, all the borrowings, they are from only one source, that is IRFC, Indian Railway Finance Corporation. And the entire borrowing, the principal and interest repayment is total responsibility of Ministry of Railways. It is just a pass-through entry in my books of account. It just comes and is posted there, but entire payment, repayment is taken care of by Ministry of Railways. Entire fund comes from... Yeah.
So we are not obligated to that?
No, we are not.
Okay, and just repeating one thing, sir, like you said about sales and expenses. So when I see that the revenue was 14,000 crores and expenses were around 13,000 crores for financial year 21, so this 14,000 crores is something which you receive from the Ministry of Railways and you pay out 13,000 crores. If you can give some clarity on these numbers.
See, the direct expenses are basically direct expenditure on the project, and we add our management fee. Whatever figure comes is our turnover. And in the turnover, there are 2-3 sources. Ministry of Railway, there also we differentiate. Ministry of Railway, other projects and metro projects, because metro has a different management fee. It is 9.25. And there we work for our SPV also. That also constitute our turnover, and some deposit works. Other than this system, like we are doing something for SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited in Chhattisgarh. We do their work also as deposit work. There are other small works in different places. So all these 4 items constitute our turnover and our revenue.
So we take the responsibility of the entire project, we pay off all the expenses, and the rest, what is left is our management fee, and that is booked as its sales.
Yes.
Yeah, and the last question, sir, which was on private partnership is done. Okay, sir, I think I am done. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. We have next question from Mr. Jayesh Shah, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So I just wanted to check on a couple of things, sir. So we have been investing in our JVs, and essentially they in turn end up giving the projects to us. Can we have some sense as to what is the likely capex plan which will be funded by equity in next few years across our current or maybe the new JVs? That's question one. Second, what is the net worth, a portion of net worth which is currently invested in those JVs, and what has been the average profitability of those JVs, maybe over last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Obviously, in the current year, there's not been much profit, but what is the kind of ROE that we typically target to make? So that is my second question.
Okay. So, if you want to know the equity contribution in the various SPVs, we have got 4 number of SPVs, that is the Kutch Railway Company Limited, Krishnapatnam Railway Company Limited, Bharuch Dahej Railway Company Limited, Haridaspur Paradip Railway Company Limited. These 4 SPVs have already been commissioned. Angul Sukinda Rail Company Limited is getting commissioned next financial year. Now, in these SPVs, RVNL is having different equity contributions. For example, for the Kutch Railway Company Limited, it is about 50%. Krishnapatnam Rail Company Limited, it is again around 49%. Then we have got Bharuch Dahej, where we have got 35.46%. Then Haridaspur Paradip, it is about 30%. Angul Sukinda, it is about 32.37%. Now, we have contributed around 1074 crores in the 4 operational SPVs, where the total project cost was 8916 crores. So, now if you want to see the pattern of the loading and the earning of the various SPV, so let us see the example of the Kutch Rail Company Limited. So, the Kutch Rail Company Limited, last financial year, we have loaded around 19,375 rakes. And we are now undertaking the doubling and the railway electrification from the earning of the SPV. And if you see the total basically earning of the revenue generated from this SPV from July 2006 to March 2021, the total revenue generated was around 55,000 plus crores, out of which the SPV earning after deducting all those costs, etc., is more than 2,000 crores. So this is a kind of earning which we have received from Kutch Railway Company Limited. Okay. Now, if you want to see the other example, let us now take the example of the Haridaspur Paradip Rail Company Limited. We'll go to Krishnapatnam also because that is another example of the other side. So, Haridaspur Paradip was commissioned in the month of July, 31st July 2020 during the COVID time, and it started transporting from August onwards. And in this particular SPV, during the year 2020-21, it transported around 3,664 rakes. 688 rakes were loaded in the month of March 2021. In April 2021, it was 719 rakes. It is a 82-kilometer single line section, and this is going to be the game changer in the dynamics of the transportation in Odisha and in that region. So we expect that since it has been commissioned very recently, it is going to impact, it is going to fetch a very good result, financial results in time to come. Now, we will take another example of Krishnapatnam Rail Company Limited. This was commissioned, the last phase was commissioned in 2019, and immediately after that there was a slide in the economy in the country, which was followed by the pandemic, and the Krishnapatnam port was badly affected because of COVID. Large number of people were got infected and many of them died also. So this company is really having a lot of problems in terms of the traffic, number one. It has got some disputes from the Ministry of Railways in connection with the apportionment of the freight and the terminal cost. So partly Ministry of Railway has agreed to this, and since there was a dispute, so some arbitration case is going on where we have lost a claim of around 3,400 crores. So this is and we have got a new managing director posted for this particular special purpose vehicle, who is from that area only with the railway background and from the traffic department. So we expect going to have a sea change in the traffic, and in fact in the month of April 21 and May 21 we had seen a jump of around 23% in the traffic. And for improving the efficiency in the SPV line, we are constructing 2 more stations, we are constructing a bypass line. All these things will be done in next 6 months time, and we expect that this will come on track once we get substantial award from the ministry, number 1, through the arbitration. And after doing this 3 infrastructure projects, which is likely to be completed in next 4 to 6 months time, and we are also in coordination with the various stakeholders for improving the traffic. So this is the overall scenario of the SPV lines and the kind of equity invested, the kind of profit and the loss taking place.
So that was the first question. Another question I really had was that, as you correctly mentioned during the call, the railway budget has continued to increase at an aggressive pace over the last 5 years. Even for the current year, when I look at the numbers, the actual budget growth is around 25 to 30%. While one does understand that the decision is finally of the railways to really allocate work to RVNL, but can you give us some sense as to what drives this decision, and when can we really expect that increase in budget flowing to RVNL in terms of work executed? Because our order book, if I look at the last 3 to 4 years, I mean, it has been broadly stagnant, right? So that was another question I had.
So your question was not very clear, but what I have understood, I will briefly explain. That yes, you are right that the railway capex is increasing. In the financial year 2020-21, we had around 1617 billion INR, which has now increased to 2200 in the financial year 2020-22. RVNL has been executing around 30 to 35% of the Indian railway infrastructures. First of all, I would like to tell you that the railway infrastructures are very, very complicated and complex. And we have got the expertise of undertaking right from concept to commissioning. And commissioning in the railway projects becomes very, very important. So we believe that we will still contribute around 30 to 35%. We have got order book as of now to the extent of around 75,000 crores. We expect, based on the project delivery which has been made in the past, we expect that we may get the works in the nomination basis in time to come. Because ultimately, railway has to deliver. I will cite one example over here. During the last financial year, during the COVID year, we had commissioned 1700 route kilometers of railway electrification. Now, out of 6,000 kilometers, the other PSUs like IRCON did about 21 kilometers, RITE did about 170 kilometers. The core organization which is meant for the railway electrification, they did only 2,800 kilometers with huge manpower. So as far as the efficiency is concerned, project delivery is concerned, there is no match to RVNL. I do not know whether I have answered your questions or not, but partly I have tried to cover, and your voice was not clear, so I did not catch the question.
No, sir. I think the question has been adequately answered. And then third question and last one on the Chardham Yatra project. So while I believe phase 1 work is already on, but recently RVNL has been appointed as essentially the technical consultant to the another leg of the project. Now, does this mean that it will be, given your experience on the first leg of the project, will it be a high level of probability that even the second leg of the project comes in?
Yeah, we are expecting to get all kinds of railway infrastructure projects in time to come. This Char Dham project, I will tell you, this is one of the most prestigious and challenging work. And recently we have concluded the report of basically the alignment and we call the basically a survey, detailed survey, etc. And we have submitted a report also on the Char Dham. And the last leg connection to the various temples, that modality is under finalization. And based on the experience of Char Dham, and there is another project of great importance, is the Rishikesh Karnaprayag project.
Correct.
125 kilometers. So we are implementing all the packages, executing, and we are executing about 105 kilometers of tunneling work in that particular project. So we expect that whatever projects in connection to these projects come in future, we should be considered, because a lot of challenges are there, technical challenges are there, and it is one of the most difficult terrain to work there. So we expect that, yes, as you said, that is there any possibility? Yes, there is very much possibility of getting such work.
That's all from my side. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. We have next question from Mr. Arun Kejriwal from Kejriwal Research. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question. Just wanted to understand that last year was one of the most toughest years for all of us, not only in India but globally. Yet you have been able to achieve a stellar performance. Considering the challenges that you overcame during this year, don't you think it's time to step the gas on the pedal and start delivering much more than this 15,000 odd crores that we are doing in terms of work, and go closer to 18,000-20,000 in the coming year or so?
Yeah, you are right. In fact, there was a meeting of Honorable Finance Minister with all the PSUs on 4th of June, where we had said that we can always spend 20,000 crores. And in fact, we suggested that yes, we are ready, we are mentally prepared, and we have got the expertise. Our teams are working. If we get the sufficient fund and cash flow, we will be able to execute 20,000 crores of work.
So is that, sir, work in progress now, or you need to do something to start moving towards that target?
Already in progress. Only thing is that we need to expedite depending upon the availability of the fund.
Okay. Right. Sir, your total order book, you said, is about 75,000 crores. What would have been the fresh inflow of orders that you got in 2021 financial year?
2021, we did not get any work from the Ministry of Railways.
NRTI.
Except one project which was related to the construction of the National Railway Transport University at Baroda.
Okay. So that is more, that means not much of work is there, and your order book continues to remain as it is. So you expect larger order inflow this year.
But if you are listening to the previous questions, then I had said that there are 7-8 special purpose vehicles which are at different stages of implementation and discussion, and we are sure that once these SPVs are formed, then we will get the business. For example, this Pachwara coal evacuation, we are going to construct a 54 kilometers which are having 3 number of tunnels and costing about 2,500 crores project. So what I am saying is that there are 2 routes of getting the projects. One is the nomination basis. The other is the special purpose vehicles. So the route of special purpose vehicles are always on, and these projects were basically were under discussion during the last financial year only.
Right. Sir, my last question. You are working on Uttarakhand, which is considered to be a difficult terrain, difficult projects, etc. What is the, of this 15,000 crores, how much would be work done in Uttarakhand or the so-called difficult terrain part of the business?
So if you want to know about the Karnaprayag Rishikesh project, I will briefly tell you about the background, the total, the details about this project. This is about 125 kilometers of new line, out of which 85% is through the tunnels. The longest tunnel is about 15 kilometers.
Okay.
15 kilometers long tunnel. The contracts for all the packages have been awarded, and up to March 2021, around 6 kilometers of tunneling works were completed, and we expect that by the financial year 2023, the entire section should be completed. So the entire land acquisition, forest clearances, the detailed designing, alignment, contracts, everything is in place and all are working.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kejriwal. We have next question from Mr. Shubhankar Chaudhary, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. I just wanted to check on the borrowings which the company is having. So is there any plan of decreasing the borrowings in the future?
See, whatever borrowing figures are appearing in our balance sheet and P&L, they are not our liability at all. Entire money loan is from IRFC, Indian Railway Finance Corporation, and repayment of principal and interest is total responsibility of Ministry of Railway. Borrowing and repayment are just a pass-through entry in RVNL book of accounts. We don't own any responsibility or liability for this loan. It is basically Ministry of Railways transaction that passes through our books of account. So borrowing is again the quantum and everything is decided by Ministry of Railway, and IRFC gets that money for us. And repayment every year is being made through the fund from Ministry of Railways.
Okay, all right. So my second question is why do we see a negative cash flow for the company in the past couple of years?
Past 2-3 years, yes, railway budget was under stress, and our 95 to 96% work are allotted by Ministry of Railways. So sometimes, rather quite frequently, I would say, we were not getting reimbursement. So work was done, work is booked, but there is no cash to pay to the contractors. Our balances will be all zero or sometimes negative also, because we have in our account we have taken that expenditure. So sometimes those figures were negative, but we have never defaulted or made any overdraft in banks. It's a basically book entry, but basic problem is we were not getting timely reimbursement and adequate fund from Ministry of Railway, so cash balances were going towards negative side. But we managed it finally at the end of the financial year.
So is that affecting anything on the operations side?
No, not exactly, but in the month of November, December and January, there was a basically slow in the cash flow, and this impacted the project delivery as well as expenditure. Otherwise, we could have achieved around 17,000 crores of turnover.
Oh.
So, and that was the peak time, and but you understand the pandemic which has impacted the entire world and the country, and the entire economy was on a very low.
Yeah. So my last question or simple opinion, like when is the Pambam Bridge project going to get completed? If you could just give us an insight on that.
Our target is to complete it by December 2021, if everything goes all right. There were certain issues in the contract management which we have addressed, and if everything goes fine, then in the financial year 2000, I said December 2022. December 2022 it should be commissioned.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time.
And that is unique bridge, first vertical bridge in the country.
Yes.
And
Yes.
RVNL will be basically proud to deliver such kind of projects to the country.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. We have next question from Mr. Kshit Doshi again from Whitestone Financial Advisors Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity again. Sir, if I look at our current assets, there is item called other current assets, which is almost 6,043 crore. I assume there are two big elements in this. One is advance to the suppliers and second is unbilled revenue. So is it fair to understand that this year we might have done much more work and due to the shortage of fund at the ministry level, we have not billed them and there is a increase in unbilled revenue?
Yeah, you are correct. Your assumption is correct. We have billed, they have not paid, so it remained as unbilled amount.
So this has not come in the revenue in the P&L?
No, it didn't come as revenue in P&L.
So what would be the unbilled revenue?
We will have to check, and these financial figures are always uploaded in the website.
Okay. Now, one more question was in terms of receivables from the Krishnapatnam Railway. So what is the status and by when you feel that they will start repaying?
See, I had told whether you were there earlier or not, but I will tell you that it is on the revival path. We have got a huge claim. We have disputes in connection with the apportionment of the traffic and the terminal cost. We have got an arbitration case of around 3,400 crores.
Krishnapatnam company, not me.
वही तो बता रहा हूँ. So we have got a claim of around 3,400 crores from the Railway Ministry, and the next hearing is on 10th of July, and we expect that these claims are genuine, and whenever this arbitration case is finalized, then we will have a huge cash inflow, number one. Number two, if you see the background, in the year 2019, this company was commissioned. Immediately after that, there was a slide in the economy in the country, which was followed by the pandemic, and it badly affected the Krishnapatnam port during the pandemic time. So the traffic went down, and then we had the loan from the bank, which we started paying, which we have been paying, and there has not been any default, default in that particular case. And RVNL has implemented the project, and there is a due. Yes, you are right. There is a due of the construction cost. And once the arbitration case is resolved and the traffic improves, the Krishnapatnam Rail Company Limited will start paying to RVNL.
Okay. Sir, last question from my side. Can you give the breakup? I mean, what is the major item in the other income of almost 300 crore?
This is basically interest from banks, dividends, and including this Krishnapatnam interest also is a part. These are three major items: dividend from SPV, interest from bank, and SPV.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there is another 50 crore, one single largest item, which is a write back. Last year we made a provision for expenses on account of COVID-19 expenses, because last 7 days, in 1920, 7 days were under this thing, and we made some provision which was not utilized. So we have brought it to miscellaneous income as a receipt.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side. And just one request, kindly continue to do the con call after every result. It will be very good.
Oh, we'll do that.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
So it is already 1 hour, so now we can close it.
Yes, sir. Due to time constraints, we will stop here. Sir, any closing comments?
See, I can assure the investors that this company is basically a company which will be delivering in time to come as well. We are contributing 30% of the railway infrastructures in the country. The railway infrastructures are very complicated and complex. No PSU can come close to RVNL as far as the project delivery is concerned. I cited example. The example of railway electrification is the burning example. And we have created one vertical, HSRC Infra Services. In time to come, you will find some results in that particular vertical. We are in the process of creating few special purpose vehicles. Hopefully they will mature and we will have business through that. RVNL has been the pioneer in implementation of these SPVs. We have generated revenue to the extent of 75,000 crores to the Railway Ministry without a single paise investment by Ministry. So it is a great thing, and most of the informations are available in the website, and this company has got a very bright future in time to come.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your conference call for today. We thank you for your participation and for using iJunction Conference Service. You may now disconnect your lines and have a great evening ahead. Thank you.